an extraordinary experience.
Yeah.
Incredibly testing at times, but something I think you'll take to the grave. It was one of those experiences you're so grateful you did it. All thanks to you, of course.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You forced it along. I remember us talking very early doors on this, and you said to me, I'd rather have gone with all my mates. But you did, and you went with your sister, and you're very grateful that you did now.
Yeah, 100%. It was all Betty's doing. She sort of signed us up, and I came home one day and there was a form on my bed and just fill this out sort of thing. So. But looking back, we wouldn't have done it with anyone else.
No.
I wouldn't have done it with anyone else anyway. So.
Why did you choose him then, Betty?
Well, the truth is, we have an older brother, but he was in Canada, he was unavailable. So this was the next best thing. But yeah, like James says, like...
Okay.
No, I'm used to it. I don't doubt it.
I think once you've done something like that with someone, you cannot imagine doing it with anyone else. Like, we were together 24/7. We had to make decisions together and... Yeah.
And for those people who didn't see it on the actual telly, how long is the whole process? Because you were third, that was the outcome, wasn't it? You were third, which is amazing. How long does it take?
So it was 51 days we were on the road, wasn't
51 days?
Yes.
Yeah. Long time. Oh, my God. And you have a sum of money and you've got to get from A to B without using an aeroplane.
Yes.
All phones.
Across
No phones,
No phone at all.
£27 a day, I think it was.
Wow.
That is actually quite extraordinary because you work along the way as well. I mean, did you do sibling rows as well? I mean...
Surprisingly not.
Oh!
I think Mum and Dad were quite pleased about that as well.
What did your parents think going into this, knowing your dynamic?
Yeah.
What did they think originally when you were like, Mom, Dad, this is what we're going to do?
I think they were a little bit nervous. And they did think we'd fall out as well, but they knew it would kind of, like, strengthen our relationship, and I think any parents would want that for the young people. Like, it is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and, you know, when do you ever get that chance to spend time with... As children, you're forced together, aren't you?
Without any phones as well, and no social media and everything. Amazing.
But one of the many moments, and there were many, but one of those moments I think that really gripped all of us watching it and made us all emotional. I've watched it 10 times this morning.
Still cry.
Still cry at it, Betty. But it was you opening up about a condition that you were diagnosed with at the age of 16.
Yeah.
And I'll get you to describe a little bit more about that. But you never had really had that chat with James. You knew about it, obviously, but it was something that you'd never sat down together and talked about.
Yeah.
And this was the moment.
Yeah. Everything that you see on screen is exactly how that conversation would have gone, because the producers kind of said, we're not producing this, like, just have this conversation naturally. And we just sat and chatted, didn't we? And, you know, when I got diagnosed, James was 11. Like,
and this was a diagnosis at the age of 16 where you were told that you wouldn't be able to carry a child.
Yeah, so MRKH means that I was born without a uterus and I only have one kidney as well. And, you know, your little brother doesn't need to know about that, does he, when he's little? So, and it's just not the conversation that's ever come up naturally at home, so it was a difficult conversation to have, but...
And we saw you becoming very emotional, obviously, Betty, and you talked about how you've spent your life focusing on what your body can't do.
Yeah.
Has this experience helped you change that?
Yeah. I feel like for the first time that I'm, like, free.
It's fantastic.
You know, that, like, I just finally belong wherever I am.
How does that feel when you see your sister now, having done this program, having connected on that level and seeing what she's really gone through? Like, when you see her right now in that moment, how has that changed for you?
Yeah, I think we saw that on the show, really, that, as Betty said, everything you see is raw, it's all natural. That was just how I felt at the time, and that raw emotion was just came out at that time. And, you know, kudos to our cameraman who was there at that time to step in and give me a hug when I really needed it, and whoever, like, people have said to me.
That was the moment.
You were hugging Betty, but then you wanted a hug too, and that's the bit I think got all of us as well, because it was just such a natural, beautiful moment of just sincerity and love. And
it was just wonderful, because when you were sort of explaining it, you kind of alluded to certain maybe negative traits in your character that had come up as a result of you sort of fighting against what you had.
Yeah.
I mean, has that obviously made you now understand your sister and maybe some of those character traits much, much more now?
Yeah, definitely. My motto wasn't growing up was everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And Betty, obviously, for obvious reasons, can't sort of see that. So having that conversation was sort of opened up more doors to different conversations that we've now had, and been able to understand each other a little bit more as adults rather than, you know, being forced to spend time as kids a little bit.
Of course.
Yeah, it's sort of easier now.
Your grand's motto is onwards and upwards. So what's next now? Any more travelling, or like what is in the pipeline?
I'd planned to go away a little bit with some of my mates.
Aye and Appa. You got to do
An all-inclusive, maybe.
with the phone.
Yeah, probably. I'm taking a back seat now, thinking of doing some other things, and I've actually moved out of home recently. So
Blew the nest?
yeah, left home for the first time. So that's exciting.
It's so good. And we know you've got your lovely mum, Helen, here as well, Helen. I'm sure you're so proud of them both. And what a wonderful moment for you to watch on telly too.
Yeah, it was very hard and it still makes me cry even now. Just seeing the way that they were both able to open up, really, about their emotions when in society we don't do that.
Exactly.
You know, we hide everything in. It just makes me really, really proud of them.
Very rightly so. Well, like you said, you mightn't have won it, but you did in so many other ways. And honestly, you were just wonderful from the beginning. I loved watching you both out there. Thank you so much.
Thank
Betty
you.
and James. Thank you.